2026 is a pivotal year for everyone. It's going to be the year that sets the stage for the next 9 years of your life, but it's going to be even more dramatic and more important if you're a psychic, healer, or energy worker. So 2026 is asking you to go bigger. It's asking you to be more authentic, and it's asking you to own the role that you came here in life to share with the world. But for psychics and healers, it goes beyond that. There's an even bigger role that you're going to need to play, but not all are going to be able to fill that space. And 2026 is going to be like weeding those out who are not truly rooted and grounded in the energetics of psychics and healers. There are things that you're going to need to know, things you should stop doing, and things you must start immediately. So today, join me as we dive into the 2026 energy and expand it specifically for energy workers, healers, and psychics. So, welcome to the Psychic Within podcast, where we explore energetics, healing, spirituality, and everything psychic. So, during my 2026 energy reading, which I did last week on Thursday, if you did not get to check it out, the full reading was 3 hours and 45 minutes long. Find the link in the show notes, and it's going to take you to that reading in order for you to join us for that and watch the replay. But during the 2026 reading, we cover everything from business to lifestyle to money to psychics and energetics and healing and even health stuff. And when I dug into the psychic aspect of 2026, there was a lot of information and it felt super, super important. Now, because I'm a psychic and an energy worker and a healer, every single year I feel that the information specifically for psychics and healers is really important because we're navigating through this energy, and as psychics, we feel the universal energy, sometimes even stronger than others, because the more tapped in you are to the energetics, the more it impacts you. And that's why sometimes you'll see psychics and healers struggling with the energetics, or they'll just feel like all sorts of chaos as it's going on. And so really understanding the universal energy is super important. But as I was doing the reading, it was so apparent to me that there was so much more that I needed to dive into to explain and really bring it home for the psychics and the healers and the energy workers so that they're prepared and so that they're able to navigate 2026 correctly and effectively because of the fact that lots of things are shifting specifically for psychics, healers, and energy workers. So even if I just use the word psychic in this show, I'm also meaning energy workers and healers. Sometimes it's just easy not to list all three out, okay? So one of the things is that I say this all the time, that the future is psychic, and more and more and more we're seeing it. We're seeing people doing tarot card readings, have a channeling with beings. We're seeing people, proclaim that they're intuitive, and a lot of people who say they're intuitive, and this might be you as well, I want you to think about this, are actually really psychic. It's just uncomfortable for them to say psychic. So they use the word intuitive, and I don't know, everywhere I look, it's people talking about psychic stuff and downloads and channeling and this message and that message and this intuition and connecting with your soul, and it's all psychic stuff. And it's phenomenal because that's what we're supposed to be doing here on earth, is reconnecting back to the energetic aspect of ourself. And that's what is truly signifies and is a really great simple definition for being psychic, is being able to connect with the energetic aspect of yourself and then understand that energy and being able to read and connect with that energy even outside of yourself. So as more and more people are opening their abilities, which they naturally will as we continue to ascend, as we continue to open up our consciousness. And if you remember in the 2026 energy reading, I explained the importance of consciousness over the course of the next 9 years. So if we are understanding that importance of consciousness and the opening of consciousness and the shifting of consciousness, that it's going to be a focus for the next 9 years, then psychics are going to be at the forefront of all the things that are happening. And so are your psychic abilities, whether you want to call yourself a psychic or not. Because as you're opening your consciousness and as you're expanding your consciousness and as you're connecting to consciousness, you're also unintentionally or intentionally activating your psychic abilities for everybody, not just the psychics, the healers, and the energy workers. So, as this is happening, people who are coming about and hearing their psychic abilities and recognizing them and witnessing and seeing spirits and having these crazy interactions with the other side and feeling this intense energy, they are going to be seeking out the psychics and the healers and the energy workers as mentors, as guides, as people to relate to, as people to learn from. And again, I want to remind you the entire world is going to be experiencing this. Now, if you're a psychic healer energy worker, you might be thinking, oh my God, this is freaking amazing. Because not only is 2026 asking you to expand your consciousness, and same with the next 9 years, and it's inviting people to do that. And for some people, it's forcing it. But 2026 is also focusing on your purpose. And for psychics and healers and energy workers, for some of you, okay, and I want to emphasize some of you, your purpose is to lead the masses. But if you're not claiming that authority aspect, if you're not stepping into the energy that 2026 is asking of you as a psychic, as a healer, as an energy worker, someone who lives this, not just is accessing these abilities in the global population as a whole, because remember, as a whole, the global population is accessing their psychic abilities. So everybody is accessing them at the level that they're meant to. So, what's going to happen is that for a time being, for a lot of people, it's going to feel as if psychics are becoming obsolete because everyone is doing it. Every single person on a level, or at least all the people who are interested in it. So the people who are just like, I would never talk to a psychic, I would never talk to a healer, I'd never talk to an energy worker, they probably won't really matter. They probably won't really matter because they're not going to be seeking you out anyway. So if you know you're here to be holding that energy and to be a leader in that industry, there's some crucial things that you need to know in order for you to remain relevant, in order for what you're teaching to impact the people it's supposed to impact, or to required the things that you're required to do in order to be able to live that purpose, because this conscious shift is moving forward and it's not going to wait for you. So people are going to be asking for support in a much bigger way, but in order for you to be able to support them in a way that's needed by them and not just seen as another peer or seen of like, yeah, I can do that, but I'm looking for even more, I'm going to cover some things that are super important for you to dive into and for you to know, okay? So for one, as we are expanding this, like I talked about in the 2026 energy reading, it's not just the humans that are expanding their connection, the spirits are expanding their connection as well. It's not that they're learning to connect with humans, they already know that. If you ever come across a spirit and he's like, oh, I want to learn a little bit about you, he's messing with you. Spirits on the other side know everything there is to know about us. They don't need to be taught by us, they know. But as we're expanding, we're calling in more beings. Well, we're also inviting in more lower vibrational energy. And I will tell you, I have seen an uptick in it. I've talked about low vibrational energies. I've even taught a course on it for the past 3 years. I've taught courses on it. I have worked with entities in low vibrational energies for the past 10 years. I have never seen this amount of attention and this amount of beings coming forward, messing with people, pretending to be something else. About 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago on my YouTube, I talked about how a lot of them are pretending to be God. So go back and take a listen to that. It's going to give you a lot of great information. But your awareness of low vibrational energies and their role is crucial. So I know in the past there's been a lot of psychics who are like, well, I don't even want to interact with them. I don't even want to invite them in. I don't even want to open up to the possibility. We're moving into a period where it's not about whether you want to open up to the possibility or not. And I know there's other psychics who are teaching this differently, and it's interesting. It doesn't matter if you want to. It doesn't necessarily matter the things that you're doing. They're going to be present. And if you are going to be working with people or working in the energetics or communicating or helping people to advance their consciousness, it's something you're going to have to connect with. It's something you're going to have to understand. It's something that you're going to have to know and to be able to work with their role here because they do have a role. Now, there is a great expansion that low vibrational beings can help us to achieve, and a consciousness that we can achieve if done correctly. But what they're primarily coming here for is to trick psychics. They're coming here to trigger people's traumas and trigger people's egos. And they're coming here absolutely to give guidance to the leaders who are looking to hold more power in an abusive way. So more and more and more knowing what you're communicating with. I mean, I teach my psychics in all of my psychic development courses to have a clear understanding of what they are and who they are talking to before they actually have any conversation. Because beings communicate through energetics, but they will speak in any human terms that you want to hear or that you believe you're going to hear. They can say any words, but their vibrational energy won't lie. So you're going to need to know how to work with them, how to clear them. You're going to need to clearly understand their role and their role in interaction with you. And there's some people who will call in low vibrational beings and even some communities and some cultures who will connect with lower vibrational frequencies more often than others. And there are people who are specifically here to be working with them and to be working against them, I guess, if you can call it that, but we're never working against something. So this is very important to understand your role with the low vibrational energies and really get a clear understanding of low vibrational energies. And the most important thing I can tell you is that if you are afraid of them or you hold fear around them, that should be a priority of yours to clear that because the fear actually calls them in. The fear gives them more power. We should never have fear or anger or resentment or any low vibrational energy when we're working with low vibrational energies or working to remove them. So you're going to see more and more of these low vibrational and nefarious spirits coming here. And if done correctly, you can actually use the experience in order to expand your consciousness. But you need to be a phenomenal psychic and really need to understand low vibrational energies in order to support people in that process. You also need to, if you're a healer or an energy worker and people are coming to you, it's going to be crucial that you understand if it's fear, if it's a trauma coming to the surface, if it's their ego, or if it's a low vibrational energy that is asking something of that person or needing something of this situation. So that's going to be crucial. Now, number two, psychics is that they are being asked to look at how they're presenting themselves and what they're doing. So when you look at psychics and you look around the world and you see a psychic and you're like, oh, she's excellent. She's really good at what she does. That level of excellence and really, really good is the new standard. It's the new baseline. Okay. So the healers and the psychics and the energy workers who want to remain relevant have to go beyond that. Because if you look around you, there are hundreds of people doing readings, doing card readings, using pendulums, using dowsing tools that literally no matter where you turn, you can find these people. And so it's going to be like a dime a dozen. We're going to go back to, for a moment in time, it's going to feel as if we're going back to that like $11 palm reader psychic energy because every single person, for some reason, when people start to activate their psychic abilities, their immediate thing is like, I need to do a reading. I want to do a reading. I want to practice. I'm going to tell people what they should do. I'm going to bring forward messages. And there will be a period of time where it feels like the whole world is doing messages. It almost feels to me, and I've said this before, and it's one of the things I work to avoid with my clients as I teach them, as I help them open and access their psychic abilities and build a business around it, and really help them to find relevance in the psychic community. Because if we're just opening everybody's psychic gifts, and teaching them how to use them, what happens is we're just all psychics doing readings for their psychics. It's kind of like the coaching industry. Coaches are just coaching coaches. It feels like a pyramid scheme. Like we're all just selling to each other to sell. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing, especially in the psychic industry. So your level of standard is going to need to elevate. That means if you want to be relevant, you should not be using cards. You shouldn't be using pendulums. You shouldn't be doing what all the, and I know I'm going to catch flack for this, but all the TikTok psychics are doing. You shouldn't be doing any of that stuff because that's just people playing and using their gifts. They're using the gifts that every single person should have. The psychics who are going to excel and remain relevant are the ones that can go even deeper, that can see beyond what other psychics aren't able to see. They can go beyond the level of consciousness that we have been able to reach as a global community, and they can connect with energetics that are far exceeding. So they're not the psychics that are like, "Oh my God, I saw a deer on my way home. Let me go check the book to see what that deer means." You shouldn't be doing that. So, this is where you really need to excel beyond. This means that we change your habits. This means that we change the way you show up in the world. This means that we change the way you see the world. So, number three means you need to see life through the lens of energetics. That means that as I'm navigating life, I'm understanding life and I can see it from a human perspective, but I understand it from an energetic perspective. That's what this shift in consciousness is asking of us. I call this with my psychics advanced energetics, is really being able to see the bigger picture. If you have a question, you're not Googling it, you're channeling it, you're not checking cards, you just know what it is. You're not asking other people, especially as the psychic and advanced psychic healers and energy workers, you're actually doing the advanced energetics. That means if you're a healer, there's going to be a whole new standard. We're not using Heelys and these, electronic devices to maintain our energy. If you're a master healer, you have to show up in that master level. But I see so many healers out there that aren't actually using their own healing. They don't actually hold their own energy. They don't actually do their own work. They're using these electronic devices. They do not transmit frequencies the same way. They do not help you in the same way, and you're giving your power away to the devices. You're giving your power away to the people who make these devices. On that mastery level, the level that it's asking the people who want to remain relevant and want to be the leaders in the industry, the ones that people of the highest caliber will be looking for, you have to set yourself apart. You have to be able to, everything you teach, everything you stand for, everything that you articulate, everything that you show up for, you must be doing it as well. So it's taking your gifts and rapidly expanding them. That is going to be a requirement. That's that advanced energetics that we're talking about. If you are in a situation or you see a situation, there's going to be a human response to it, but there's also going to be an energetic understanding of it. The more advanced the people, psychics are being asked to understand the energetic importance of it, to not let their emotions get in the way, to not let their opinions get in the way, to not let their human wounding get in the way, but to truly see the deeper level. So, one of the things that a lot of psychics don't understand is if we're reading someone, and we'll take a human for example, there are about 4 or 5 levels. If we're just doing basic stuff, 4 or 5 levels of energetics that can be read. Most people read the auric level. You have to read the core level, the truth of it, the energetics and the consciousness that exists. So this means that that's why you can go to a psychic reader and you can get information that's like, yeah, that sounds relevant, that feels good, but it doesn't actually move you ahead. It doesn't actually clear the block because it's not at that truth level. Psychics need to be able to read on all levels, going to the core level so that they become relevant. If you're sharing information that all the other psychics are sharing, you probably aren't going deep enough. You're probably not going to that core level. So, and with healers, you're going to be setting yourself apart from other healers. Being in this space of there's lots of healers in the world, but the energy healers, the psychic healers, those are the ones that are going to have to bring all facets of the human together in order to heal. We're not just healing the nervous system. We're not just healing the mindset. We're not just healing the physical body. We're healing the human as a complete unit on all levels. And as we're getting deeper and deeper into this consciousness, in order to reach different levels of consciousness and to be able to remove some of the subconscious that controls you and controls your life and bring yourself more online. So you're much more conscious with how you're responding, why you're responding, what's happening in life, what your future holds. Psychics and healers are going to be needing to go to a deeper level. Now, number four, in order to go to that deeper level, psychics must do even deeper work. They must be able to really understand the difference. I was working with a psychic the other night, and one of the things that she asked me is she's like, should I be able to tell the difference between my soul giving me information, source giving me information, universal energy delivering information, and all of my guides? And my answer is heck yes. Like, absolutely. You should be able to tell the difference between every stream of energetics that you're connecting with, that you're receiving information from. And in order to do that, you've got to really be crystal clear with your channels. So this is going to require a different standards of psychics, a different standard in what we put in our body, a different standard of what it is that we're using on our body, who we're connecting with, what we're doing in our personal life, what we're engaging with, what we're listening to, what we're reading, where we're putting our consciousness, and what our opinions and beliefs are. There is a level, and this is hard for people to understand. I am one of those psychics and healers that constantly preaches we're not supposed to lose the human, but we are supposed to lose the parts of the human and remove the parts of the human that keep you unconscious, that keep you disconnected from the truth of the energetics and the truth of consciousness. And in order to do that, psychics and energy workers are being asked to step into the energy and into the healing in an entirely different level. So, whatever level you've done to get to the point that you're at with your healing, with the work that you've done, you want to be able to go deeper, to be able to clear more. So, one of the things that I invite you to do is look at the places where you are limited. If you're affected by big crowds, you can't be. If you're going to be a psychic or an energy worker or a healer that changes the world, you can't be affected by big crowds. If you're affected by opinions of others or judgments of others, you can't be. If you're going to be a psychic that's going to be leading this conscious shift that the entire world is experiencing and going to step into in a whole entirely different way in the next 9 years, you can't be afraid of that. If you don't trust your channel, that you're Googling things or asking other people or pulling cards or, looking in books for the answer, you can't be doing that. You have to be able to trust yourself to answer any single question at the drop of a hat. When you're standing in a boardroom, when you're on TV, when you are the center of focus, when people are just throwing questions at you, that is what is going to be required of the future for psychics. That is going to help you to remain relevant. That is going to help you and distinguish you from the others, because remember, every single person is opening their psychic abilities. Every single person has the ability to heal. So what's going to set you apart is being the extreme, being the exception in all of these places. There's deeper work, there's deeper understandings, there's more teachings, there's deeper clearings, and absolutely much more expansion and growth for healers, energy workers, and psychics. So, this is something that I cannot stress enough. And you're going to see this massive shift. And the last thing I forgot, they're telling me is that it's not just about you coming here and doing readings. And I touched on this before, because the number five aspect is that it's super important for you to find your role. As a psychic, we are not, and because of the fact, like, I want you to understand this, because of the fact that every single person is opening their psychic abilities, every single person, not everyone's not opening their psychic abilities in order to be readers. In order to remain relevant, you have to understand what your specific purpose is as a psychic, as a healer, as an energy worker. And it might not be readings. It might not be that. That is not my main focus. My main focus, do I do readings? Yes, I do readings for mostly 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs, where I do consults, I do soul blueprint readings. They're very unique. Nobody else does them the way I do. And I do the 2024 and the 2026, the energy readings, the universal energy readings. But I have the ability to teach any single psychic gift. So my job is to teach you what you came here to do. and how you remain relevant. I can see exactly what your gifts are. And in that space, I also get to see how you're supposed to use yours and what is super unique about that. I cannot stress it enough. Make sure you find that. Don't just open your psychic abilities, start mastering them, and then just go off, heal everybody, and give everybody readings. That is not what everyone is supposed to be doing because again, it's not going to serve everybody. Can you be using your gifts to share with others? Yeah, and you should. Can you be using your gifts in order to give guidance? Yes, and you should. But there's something super important that you came here to do in 2026 is going to ask you to find that and to embody it and to be a master at it. So 2026 is coming super fast. If you did not catch my 2026 energy reading, be sure to click the link below. It's going to take you to the page in order to sign up to get my 2026 energy reading. If you want your own personal 2026 energy reading, I have one left for the year. By the time you're watching this, I might not even have any. So be sure to check the link, reach out to me if you want that. And if you're ready to grow your abilities and really be the exception in the healing, the psychic, the energy world, reach out to me. I have a new psychic school starting, as well as programs on every single development level. There is nothing I can't teach you. Thank you guys for joining me on the Psychic Within Live podcast. We are live on Wednesdays, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week on the Psychic Within. Bye, guys.